It's Run Bum here from mile 460 or so into the 1108 mile Florida Trail. Right now I am on day 10, morning of day 10. I've done 10 miles about today. Just kind of want to tell you a little bit about what I've experienced so far with the Florida Trail. First of all, I'm haggard as shit, to say the least. That's an understatement. But the first day that we had, the night before I was going to start, the trail starts 30 miles through Big Cypress Swamp basically in the Everglades, with no bailouts. And the night before, we knew there was a big storm cell coming in, and needless to say, I ended up getting horribly sick, had horrible diarrhea all night long, kept me up. Woke up at 3:30 a.m. after maybe an hour of sleep, and yeah, it was miserable. And then we got over to Big Cypress Oasis Center, and my buddy Aubrey Aldi was gonna go with me through the swamp. And a storm cell is coming in. We knew it was coming. First wave hits, we're like, we're good to go. So we headed out. And as soon as we headed out, it started raining for about 6 hours straight. Stuff that's normally doesn't really have a lot of water in it was all a swamp. So we had about 13 miles of shin deep to knee deep water that we were going through in the middle of the swamp. It's kind of weird if you're not really used to it, because you think, oh, alligators, water moccasins, something to wrap your head around. But really, the only goal of that is just keep going through, get to the other side. Then popped out of the swamp. Aubrey left. Then I headed up into the Seminole Reservation. Got about 44 miles the first day. And all of a sudden it dropped to 48 degrees overnight. I was sleeping in the back of my truck. I woke up shivering multiple times. Didn't really sleep that at all. Fucking horrible. Finally I decided to throw all my running gear and all my thermals and shit. Just took off. It was basically after the swamps, 135 miles of road, dirt road, which is more gravel road, and on top of a levee. So next day I ran on roads and fully exposed levees all the way to Lake Okeechobee. 8 of those miles are heavy, shitty, thick grass, weeds. It's just on top of a levee. It's horrible. Almost stepped on a rattlesnake on top of the levee. That was crazy. It even rattled at me. Beautiful. Yeah, day 3 was fucking horrible. I knew that I would hate it. Was so crippled, barely made it out of bed. Got up on the levee and basically ran around the levee on Lake Okeechobee on the Lake Okeechobee Scenic Trail. Went to the west side of that, and as I was running, I got to see people who were doing the Lost 118 mile ultra marathon, where they circumnavigate the whole thing. Sounds fucking horrible to me because I hated that levee, but definitely gave me some good spirits. Yeah, and then that was one of the worst days. I got fucking sunburnt and made it around Lake Okeechobee and thought that I would never be able to do anything again. Next day, well, first of all, that night we got to the hotel, I kept waking up in sweats and then sweats and chills, because I had random sunburn all over me. Being a ginger out there fully exposed really sucks sometimes. And then on day 4, that was a really rough day. Lots of technical stuff, and started out on the Wild Florida course. Really beat me up, especially after a hard run day the day before. So I was finding my body, I would do one day of running, and then the next day would be mostly walking because I was so fucked up. And then, yeah, we ended up car camping that night, slept worse shit. It was so fucking humid. I woke up and I felt like I was drowning. I was just poured sweat, just covered in sweat. All my blankets were fucking wet. Didn't sleep worth a shit. Took off early in the morning at 3 a.m. and basically a mile and a half in, my headlamp died, and I ran 13 miles on my iPhone headlamp, which was horrible as well. The day broke in Kissimmee Prairie Preserve State Park. It was beautiful. Ran through there. Clump grass was really fucking me up towards the end. Man, that beat me up, and it was hot as fuck. Oh my God. Got in the first day in the mid 80s. So 2 days before that had been 48 degrees, then it was mid 80s. And basically it was like bad water tactics and Western States tactics, where the goal is just stay wet, stay cool. Joey was kicking ass, my crew chief here, who's filming the video. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Hey. Yeah, we just kind of was dumping water and ice on me like a bunch just to kind of make it through. And my whole mentality for this whole thing has been bend, don't break. And so I've bent a lot, but I haven't broken fully yet. So keeps me going. And then later that day, I found myself running deeper and deeper into the Wild Florida Trail, and there was a solid 7-hour period during the day that it was on day 5, that I literally just cried on and off running. I don't even know why. I was in so much pain, just so behind on sleep, still am. That was fucked up. Then we finally made it to the finish line of the Wild Florida course, and I knew it'd be next day I'd wake up and have a 30-mile road run. Well, anyways, one thing I haven't really fully talked on is like how much pain my legs are in. Upper body feels fine, abs feel fine, back feels fine, whatever. My hips and everything, every night it is so fucking sore and throbbing. It doesn't matter how much CBD oil on there, how much THC, whatever, it just fucking I refuse to take Nasids though. I don't want to take any of that because my stomach's messed up as it is. But yeah, and like when I lay down to go to sleep, it's really hard to go to sleep because everything is like boom, 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 just throbbing, painful, because I've been standing all day and moving forward, and all of a sudden I let all of that go and things start spasming. It is fucking horrendous. Day 6 was the run day, and it also got mid-80s. That was brutal. 30 miles on the road through Mormon country. Whew. Did pretty well through that though. That was pretty nice. And then hit Tosahatchee, which is one of my favorite sections in the world. And God, that just beat me up. Always overgrown, always like just technical. That fucked me up. And I was like, oh sweet, now we get one of my favorite sections, Seminole Ranch, which is beautiful. So I'm fighting every day I've kind of been behind on sleep, starting the days later and later. And just in a deficit I can't catch up from, but it's part of it. And so I'm chasing the sunset, because you don't want to be out on the trails for longer than you have to be at night. So I started running really fast, and all of a sudden I forgot there's this fucking like bog swamp for like 3 or 4 miles, which were the last 3 or 4 miles I had to do for the day, and I was fucking cooked. And I remember finally getting back. I mean, it's like the mud sucked one of my shoes off twice, even though I retied it. That was, I'm pretty sure I invented some new cuss words on that one. That was fucking horrible. And then I remember finishing, and Joey was waiting, and I didn't even know my own name. Like I think I pretty much collapsed at the car. That was horrible. Another thing, the morning of day 5, my ankle was hurting so bad when we got to River Ranch. I literally, like where we were staying at, he dropped me off at the curb. I literally had to crawl into the hotel because I couldn't wait there. So that was horrible. Another story, but for another time. Yeah, and then from there, things started to kind of be better and deteriorate. So it's like, if it's not my knee, it's my hip. If it's not my hip, it's my calf, blah, blah. And it's just a whole nother pain scale that I just can't even, describe to you. It's just fucked. And then yesterday, I felt awesome. Day 9, felt fucking amazing. Have Orlando behind me, feeling good, whatever. Next thing I know is the last 5 miles, I made a really fucking stupid decision running through Juniper Prairie Wilderness and decided to put on road shoes to make my feet feel better. Well, then I was having to pull really hard, and it fucked my right hip up, and ended up, really doing a number on that. Last night, car can't begin, probably slept an hour, horrible pain in that hip, just wouldn't go away. I've rubbed CBD oil on it. I mean, I've done everything you do, and it's horrible pain. But I've found now that while I cannot walk without pain, I can run slightly less painful. So now I'm actually having to run 50 miles pretty much nonstop because I can't really walk. So here we are, day 10. Let's hit 500 miles. Yay.